to Adventures in Life. I'm Earl Beecher, your host. We are honored today to have two very special guests. Dr. Piedad Robertson is the president of the Santa Monica College, and she is here with us, and I know that she has some wonderful things to share with us. And also Bruce Smith is here with her, and Bruce is the Public Information Officer. Did I get the right title, Bruce?
You got it right.
Public Information Officer for Santa Monica College. We're very happy to welcome you here today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you.
Dr. Robertson, I'd like to start off with just a little bit of your personal background.
All right.
You, I understand, speak Spanish very fluently.
I was born in Cuba. So
that would explain it.
That would definitely explain it. I would get into trouble with my parents if I did not know how to speak Spanish.
Yes, yes. Now, you were born in Cuba, and Cuba is just opening up now. How did you happen to come to the United States and wind up in such a wonderful key position?
Well, I came from Cuba in 1960, went to Miami.
This was before the missile crisis.
This was before the missile crisis, yes. The missile crisis was a little bit
62,
afterwards,
right.
yes. And basically spent a lot of my life in Miami, got my degrees, worked at another very great community college, Miami-Dade Community College, and then from there went to Boston. And so in Boston I was president of a college also. And
which college were you president
Bunker
of?
Hill Community College.
Bunker Hill?
Community College. The Battle of Bunker Hill.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And then served for 4.5 years for Governor Weld as Secretary of Education.
Secretary of Education of the state of Massachusetts?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
So, and I was sort of getting ready for my next move in life, and
sunny California looked
somebody
good.
said, well, it was not so much sunny California as Santa Monica College. The quality of the faculty and the staff there, the diversity in the student population, the accomplishments of the college, and the wonderful possibility of all kinds of new things happening with the community itself, with the business and industry development in this area. It really offered a very challenging opportunity, and so I took it.
Well, I think the college is going to be grateful you did, because you have some wonderful plans for the college that you're working on, I know.
Yes, we are. We are certainly working on. We're based on what we have already achieved. We are now growing and going beyond that. And I'd like to mention a few things, for example.
Yes, please.
You know, the college is something that most people don't know was very hard hit by the earthquake. And we lost 7 buildings.
Out of how many?
Out of a total of about 14.
So, okay.
All
And they
right.
were some of your major buildings.
It was our science building. Our science program is one of our top quality programs in the
Yes.
college. We lost our whole science building. It affected all of our science programs and our math programs.
Oh, dear.
We sort of lost parking garages, which are critical for us because our students, when they come by bus, they don't have to worry about parking, but a lot of our students come by car, and we want to keep a good neighborhood policy.
We understand traffic problems in Southern California.
We had damage to our library. We had damage to our liberal arts building. We had damage to our business building. We had damage to our gym, which happens to be the Red Cross Emergency Center. So I was really concerned about that. But we have been able to work very successfully with FEMA. And we are in the process of beginning our recovery. And our technology building is being worked on, and that's thanks to...
In the long run, you're going to come out ahead, aren't you?
I think so. You see, I never look at the negative things. I always try to find a positive, and the positive is that thanks to all of this, we're going to end up with a state-of-the-art science building.
Yes.
Thanks to all of this, we have received a wonderful donation to recreate our planetarium with the latest Digistar equipment, something we would not have done before. And this is a service to the whole community.
Digistar.
Digistar.
That's a phrase I haven't heard before.
It's
Well, it's sort of a high-tech, three-dimensional approach to you know, using the latest digital technology to create images on the planetarium ceiling. So it is very exciting. It's going to be the first one on the West Coast.
Is that going to be open to the public?
Oh,
That'll-
yes.
definitely.
Oh,
Our
definitely.
planetarium is...
Everybody will want to know
yes.
when that happens.
Yeah, that
Yes,
should be
definitely.
about a year from now.
It will be exactly a year from now. We will be opening our new planetarium, and we will continue to offer programs. Just think, for children, what a wonderful opportunity.
Oh, yes.
And
My
we're-
grandkids would love it.
I know, and working with our unified school district, we can offer all kinds of programs there for these children.
Now, you just hit a nerve right there. You're reaching out to the unified school districts.
Yes, we are.
The colleges are getting involved, at least Santa Monica is, with the surrounding...
Absolutely.
Oh, this is great.
Yes, we are, for example, right across the street at Adams. Adams is a magnet school for science and math. And we have our faculty members over there. We have tutors over there for math and science. We have all of our...
We bring students on campus to work in our labs with our professors, to go in our planetarium when that reopens.
You're bringing high school, junior
Junior
high?
high.
Junior high,
Junior
from
high.
Adams, yes, which is right across the street from us. But this
Yes.
is, you know, they're right there. They're our neighbors. They should be our partners in education.
You know, I think this is wonderful, and it's important because I think it's the kind of thing that needs to be done to get the youngsters thinking in terms of college.
Absolutely.
That keeps them in high school,
Yes.
and they start really planning their lives. And I know this is one of the major things that the governor recently stressed in his State of the Union address, is how much we need to, and for the colleges to be reaching out to the schools. I think this is ideal.
Well, middle schools are forming years. They're defining years for young people. And so if we can help by reaching at that level, we can really encourage them to stay in school first, which is most important that they do, and second, to understand the value of education and what can be achieved with it. So that's also good for our own students, because part of what I think is very important for students is, in their whole issue of values, is a responsibility back to the community that has given them so much.
Tell me, the earthquake devastated the buildings. In the long run, you're going to wind up with a more state-of-the-art, right?
Yes.
More current, everything. But it also tended to bring the community together, didn't it?
Absolutely.
Adversity sometimes has a rather positive input. with
Everybody
people.
chips in, everybody finds a common ground, everybody creates a linkage to overcome this catastrophe. And I think that that's what happened at Santa Monica College. I was not there when the earthquake hit, but I can see it, and I can look at it as an observer that was not part of that whole process, but you were there.
Yeah, I think that's one of the sort of wonderful things about Santa Monica College, is this sort of family feeling that we have, and this coming together. And as Dr. Robertson mentioned, I think she senses it in the 6 months or so she's been in this community.
Has it been 6 months?
Yeah, it's hard to believe, huh? She's got done enough for 6 years, but she's been here 6 months.
Well, I'll tell you, she how is it they say it? She hit the ground running?
Absolutely.
Well, we had
and I
to.
was there.
That was it. You know, there's nothing else we could do.
Right.
It was only up going. But the faculty really responded beautifully, and so did all of our staff. And so that's why we were able to move ahead. We are now looking at the next step. We are continuing to build our strength in articulation, because we believe that most of our students will want to continue on to finish their bachelor's degree. So we have very good articulation and transfer agreements.
To go from the Santa Monica Community College to one of the four-year universities.
Yes.
And,
Correct.
Yeah.
And they get the AA with you and then move on to
Exactly.
the VA? Is that what
But
we're
we are offering them a lot of different choices. We're saying to them, yes, if you don't want to leave Santa Monica, or if you don't, we will bring some programs in. We can't bring them all, because we just don't have the capacity or the space. But we have made agreements with Northridge and with Dominguez Hill, where a certain reduced number of courses can be offered at Santa Monica College, so students, without having to leave the community, can get their bachelor's degrees.
Would these be upper division courses?
Yes,
Yes.
upper division
Yes.
courses.
Oh, very good.
So
Yes.
they can actually earn their baccalaureate degrees.
So that the credit is actually granted by
Dominguez Hill
the other
and by
universities.
Northridge,
Right.
yes.
Okay.
But, so that's one option. The other thing that we have is we have transfer into all of our, of course, state colleges and universities. But we have more than that. We work very closely with some of our private colleges. We have 400 students right now at Loyola Marymount University.
Excellent.
And we have students at USC. We are also doing some interesting things with other colleges.
At women's colleges, historically black colleges, we placed students really throughout the nation in those colleges. It's kind of interesting to see how it's
I know
evolving.
Santa Monica is very aggressive, but I did a show with Bruce Young and Rocky Young,
Yes.
your vice president,
Yes.
and the head of the international division,
Mm-hmm.
and they were talking about a school in France that you're working with, so that you are reaching out even overseas.
Yes. As a
And-
matter of fact, if you read the newspaper not too long ago about the Rhodes Scholars, one of Santa Monica's students from Nigeria is one of the Rhodes Scholars that has been selected for this year.
That's right.
Excellent.
And so, you know, we can see what's happening with our students, but that's because the college maintains high quality, high expectations, and provides the support needed so the students can reach those high goals. But we do not lower standards, we do not compromise on what we think is important in academic setting.
Well, this is wonderful. You have high goals and high expectation and the quality of the programs. They tell me that we need to pause for a public service announcement, but when we get back, what I'd like to explore with you are some of the new programs that
Okay.
you're into and some of the exciting plans and the way that you're networking with the community itself. So please stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Our guests are Dr. Piedad Robertson, the president of Santa Monica College, and Bruce Smith, who is the Public Information Officer of Santa Monica College. Dr. Robertson, we were talking about what the college, some of the new plans. Bruce said you hit the ground running, more or less. The college is responding. How big is the college now?
It's over 23,000 students.
Over 23,000.
Yes.
You know, that's a major school. Anywhere else in the nation, that would be...
It is. It is. And it's a school that continues to look at ways to doing better service. And I'd like to talk about some of the things that we're doing that are new.
Yes.
If you don't mind, and hopefully Bruce can remind me of those that I have forgotten.
Okay.
So many.
But an example of what we're trying to do is we're trying to be very responsive to business and industry. We have the flexibility because we are a one-college system of responding very quickly to business and industry needs. When you look at everything that is out there, what is happening to the changes in business and industry, you know that all industries are going to go through changes in how they do business.
Oh, the downsizing, the headaches
incredible.
that we're having. We're in a transitional period, second to none right now.
Exactly.
How do you get the information funneled into you as to what the needs of business and industry are right now? What are your feeder lines?
We
you know?
use everything that we could possibly use. The Santa Monica, the city of Santa Monica has a very good economic group that provides that kind of information.
Okay.
The city of LA, through the Economic Development Committee, also provides excellent information on growth industries and the potential for this whole area. The newspaper is a great provider of information also. And contacts are made because people who have graduated from our college have gone on to be successful people in business
You
and
have a lot of
industry.
loyalty among your alums, don't
Yes,
you?
we do. Yes, we do.
That's good.
And it's very important. And so what we do is we try to understand what's happening, and then we try to match what is needed by the business with what we can provide. A good example is in tourism. There are constantly new ideas on how to better serve the client or the customer when you are trying to do reservations in airplanes or reservations in hotels, freight, transportation, everything.
Okay.
And we are now working in partnership with American Airlines using a whole new reservation network system called Saber. And
How's that spelled?
S-A-B-R-E.
S-A-B-R-E.
Sounds good to
I
me.
was wondering if it was S-A-B-R or something, you know.
S-A-B-R-E.
Because it sounds like an acronym of some sort.
It's an acronym.
It is an
I'm sorry,
acronym,
right.
and it is an incredible network system. And we can provide training programs of 8 weeks, that's it, quick turn in and over and out, on the equipment, on Saber network systems.
Now, you're providing special training then for the American Airlines and
No, we're providing it to anybody who is interested in learning how to use the system.
And American Airlines is helping you to finance doing this, is
Because
that it?
American Airlines produced the whole,
Oh.
so they license the use of the courses and of their system. We are tied in directly to the airline system, American Airlines, and therefore we can provide.
So somebody could go through that course and wind up working with any of the airlines for that matter.
Or with any company.
And do they get university credit for this?
They can choose to.
Now, is this a certificate type program rather than the traditional?
It is. It's an 8-week certificate program that certifies that this person is a user and can apply Saber networks to the
So
process.
some of us who are out looking for jobs right now should maybe contact the college and you say, well, we have this program and other programs in development.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We can definitely.
Oh, that's a
give
wonderful
that
service to
information.
the public.
And I think we'll be getting more into this, although this is actually the first time we've gotten into it, and I think that's one of the impacts that Dr. Robertson has had, is reaching out to the business community, not only to serve the business community, but you know, essentially to plan for this transition, this economic upheaval that I think we're going through right now, and we'll see more of that.
But we have good linkages with our business community. For example, the Santa Monica Chamber of Commerce has been a very effective mechanism for us to reach out to business. The other piece that I would eventually want to see better developed is internships for our students in different businesses. So
Yes,
that,
I believe in that.
Yes, so that they can get right from the beginning while they're taking courses, hands-on experience that constantly will test how important it is that they do the theoretical part at the college.
Now, what international aspects are you emphasizing with this? Because I think the future is going to be an international trade more than, well, more than it's ever been in the past, that's for sure.
Well, I believe that the West Coast, and you know, I've only been here a short time, but from what I can see, I believe that the West Coast is positioning itself to be a huge port of both entry and export for not only Asia, but also for Latin America.
Definitely.
And so I think that it's very important that we begin to raise in the minds of not only our students, but also our business community, the possibilities that are available to them through an international business, trade, and export. And so one of the things the college has been doing, as a matter of fact, Bruce Young has been instrumental in putting this group together, is bringing in a lot of people that can better help our own people here in this area focus themselves and position themselves for opportunities that might develop elsewhere.
For example,
do your ties to Cuba, I should think they would prove to be very valuable in this area.
No, I don't think so. I would not.
No?
I would not concentrate on that.
You would understand the culture, though.
Oh yes, I do very well. But
I think this would be where you personally would be especially valuable as a resource person to guide a program like this.
Eventually, when things shape up differently, I think it would be a good opportunity. Right now, everything is still up in the air of where it's going. So, but in the future, there could be a lot of interesting possibilities. But you'd be surprised at what's already going on in the Miami area in regards to positioning for trade and exportation to Cuba.
To all of the Central and Latin American
of course,
area.
to all of Central America,
Yes,
but
and
to
Mexico.
Cuba in particular. But we have a special linkage with Mexico, for example, because not only do we share the coast, but we share a boundary.
Yes.
And so there are a lot of opportunities of really doing some very good things with Mexico.
Are you offering courses, especially certificate type courses in Spanish?
We are doing a lot of language training.
You are?
A lot of foreign language training.
Not just Spanish, but everything. Because
No, Chinese, for example. We're teaching Chinese. We're teaching Japanese. So we are looking at some of the, how can I say it, commercial languages. I learned a lesson once a long time ago, and we were talking to a Japanese businessman who said to me, because we were talking about the automobile industry, and he said, if you look inside a Toyota, do you see start? Do you see lights? And I say yes. And he said, you know what happens? When I look inside of a Taurus in Japan, I see lights, I see starter. And I said, all right, I understand you.
In English.
Yes.
Yes, I got it.
We are selling our equipment in English. They are selling their equipment to us in English.
In English.
So
if it were written in Japanese, it would be like what we're doing over there.
Exactly, exactly. It would be a way of us trying to reach a market to make the market more comfortable with our product.
Yes.
So there's a lot of interesting things happening in international. I think that we're well positioned in this area to really participate.
Oh, I think exceptionally well positioned.
If I can just add, our Center for International Business Education and Studies is holding they've just started a monthly series of Thursday breakfast talks, and they're designed specifically to encourage and give information and it can really be small business people who are interested in tapping into the global markets. It'll be everything from, what is the market like in China to, sort of nuts and bolts advice on import and export documentation, dealing with bureaucracies and that sort of thing. And it's a free breakfast series on Thursday mornings once a month. And
we will pause for a public service announcement. Then I want to come back and find out, so the number where somebody could call to get in touch with the college and with the breakfast. So, welcome back to Adventures in Life. Our guest is Dr. Piedad Robertson, who is the president of Santa Monica College, and Bruce Smith, who is the public information officer of Santa Monica College. What have you got for folks my age that want to come back to school?
Well, I think it's perfect, the title of your show, that we could end with this concept about education is for all ages, and we have concentrated on the young ones and the middle.
Yes.
But we also have an extraordinary program called Emeritus College. And Emeritus College is based on the concept that education continues at all ages, that the mind is constantly curious, and that people have much to contribute to our society and to our education and to their own sense of fulfillment at any age. And Emeritus College operates right in downtown Santa Monica. We've made it easier for people to just simply come by bus. And it has a series of programs that it offers for our emeritus citizenship. And
so people would be made very welcome there. And if they called Bruce at 310-452-9209, they can find out about the Thursday breakfasts, the Emeritus College,
and anything else,
the International Division. And you've got this wonderful radio station, KCRW, which reaches out, that should be telling people about all these programs, I'm sure.
It does.
Good.
And if I could put in one high-tech word, you can also visit us on World Wide Web. We have a home page for those of your viewers who are
electronically oriented.
Techies,
yes.
And it's great. It's filled with lots of good information. It's updated, and it's really kind of exciting to get into that realm of things as well. So we're online.
You're online, you're in the mainstream, and you are moving ahead. I think it's wonderful to see the community colleges working with the communities.
Oh, it is. It has to be, because that's what they are. What they were created
for. And your role
for.
is emerging very rapidly.
Yes.
It's changing from what it used to be.
Oh, yes, definitely. But I also want to remind you that, since you want to know what's at Santa Monica for you, our jazz concerts, our theater, our music performances.
Yes, we didn't talk about the cultural things. We were talking mostly business and industry. But
we're there.
The need for the cultural is very clear.
And most of them are free or very low cost. So, for a lot of our low-income residents and senior citizens, and we do really quality productions. I think Dr. Robertson was particularly impressed with our theater productions.
Yes, and our music.
And music, everything.
It's extraordinary.
It really is, and so it's a good bargain.
And our art exhibits are excellent. So there is something there in Santa Monica for almost anybody who lives in this area.
So we want the community to get involved with the college now.
We want the community to get involved with the college. We have an welcome mat for the community.
Welcome mat. On that happy note, I want to thank you both for being our guests today. This is Dr. Piedad Robertson, the president of Santa Monica College, and Bruce Smith, who is the Public Information Officer. And thank you for being with us, and please join us soon again for more adventures in life.